The initial outline of today's presentation will involve the introduction of the client, followed by pre-exercise screening tools and forms to assess the possible health risk level when exercising. From the initial consultation with the client, notes were recorded regarding the client's goals, which assisted in forming goals I created as the practitioner. From here, the main focus will be the needs analysis, which provides a detailed explanation of the client's sport and the physical and physiological demands. Finally, to summarize the process, exercise prescription will be discussed with the client in terms of a future action plan and a current test to assess the progression of the plan. My client is a 21-year-old male weighing 74.75 kilograms at a height of 184 centimeters tall. He has a BMI of 22.07 kilograms per meter square, which places him in a healthy BMI range. My client is a non-smoker and completes 5 structured exercise sessions per week, accumulating to around 300 minutes. He is a Division I soccer player and trains 2 days a week with the game each weekend. He also lives at home and is a full-time university student with 2 casual jobs. Due to this busy schedule, my client often feels tired and run down as he struggles to sleep the recommended 7 to 8 hours per night. There were multiple pre-screening exercise tools that were used to identify if the client had any known disease or symptoms of this disease that may place him at a greater risk of complications whilst completing any physical activity or exercise. There were no risks identified in the ACSM screening tool, although knowledge of a prior dislocation to the knee was recorded. It was also noted that my client meets the recommended guideline for physical activity, completing more than 150 minutes per week. There were no risks identified by the ESSA screening tool. This allows the client to safely participate in moderate intensity activity. From the PARC-U and U screening form, no medical history factors which would affect my client's ability to participate were identified, and he was cleared to exercise. These pre-screening tools assist in creating the most beneficial tailored exercise prescription for my client. From the initial consultation, the client explained that he wanted to increase his physical fitness and flexibility. From this conversation, the client identified 3 goals: health, behavior, and exercise. These 3 goals will be the base of what the exercise prescription strives to achieve. From the first goal, health, the client wants to maintain his current healthy lifestyle as he is quite active. The second goal, behavior. In the initial consultation, my client expressed his lack of sleep and difficulty remaining asleep. Due to this, my client noted a decrease in his motivation to complete his current exercise regime, and he would like to increase this. Thirdly, the exercise goal expressed was that he would like to improve his flexibility and fitness in order to reduce fatigue. Based on my client's goals, I have established 3 goals as a practitioner to create exercise prescription that will enhance my client's performance. Firstly, regarding the health goal of maintaining his current healthy lifestyle. This goal was quite vague from the client, and due to this, I believe we can enhance muscular strength and power to assist in the high-intensity bouts of exercise needed in games. A program can be created to enhance both static and dynamic strength and power. Secondly, his behavior goal, I believe the client needs to go to sleep earlier each night and turn all electronic devices off 30 minutes before winding down for sleep, as the light stimulates activity and will keep my client awake. This goal is very achievable and can be monitored. Lastly, the exercise goal was interpreted as the client wanting to improve his muscular endurance to enable him to run long distances without experiencing fatigue as early. Additionally, a time-efficient program can be created to fit into the client's busy schedule for increasing his fitness and speed with a cost-effective running program. Lastly, I can devise a flexibility program that will gradually enhance the range of motion, particularly within his lower limbs. All programs can be monitored and tested. The game of soccer is defined as a multi-directional field sport that requires a high level of physical fitness along with the technical ability to perform the various tasks of kicking, jumping, dodging, tackling, passing, and running. A game is completed over a 90-minute period with high-intensity intermittent bursts of movement, with elite players running approximately 10 kilometers per game. This amount of running is very demanding on the aerobic respiratory system, meaning increased aerobic metabolism. The game is intermittent, however high-intensity bouts of movement rely purely on lactic energy sources. Additionally to the energy systems, muscular strength, muscular endurance and power of the lower limbs are critical for soccer players. These are the important physical components needed to perform the explosive movements such as sprinting, kicking and tackling. From the goals created by myself as a practitioner in combination with the client's needs, an action plan to test the progression of these programs can be put in place. With a health goal, for example, to test the progression of power, we can use the vertical jump test. Secondly, to test his muscular strength, 1 repetition max test could also be conducted. For the behavioral goal, to monitor his sleep patterns, the client could record in a sleep diary the time he turns his electronic devices off and estimates the time he falls asleep each night. He can record his motivational levels in the same diary 3 times a day, when he wakes up, midday, and the afternoon, which can be assessed at the end of each month. For the exercise goal, tests such as the bead test can be put in place to measure his fitness progression. This will also test his speed and agility as the test progresses itself. His flexibility can be measured using a goniometer to assess his progression of range of motion, particularly within his lower limbs. Another simple test such as the sit and reach can also be completed to test his hamstring flexibility. To conclude, from the completion of the pre-screening forms, no medical risks were identified or evident. My client clearly completes more than the recommended amount of 150 minutes of physical activity per week. 3 goals were identified by myself and the client to achieve through exercise prescription with an action plan set in place to monitor the progression of the goals, with the overall aim to enhance his playing ability within his chosen sport of soccer. Here are my list of references.